Hi and welcome back. Welcome back to A View from Here 64. Good to see you here and thanks for joining me. I don't know how you went with my last video, but I hope that you got something out of it, and I'm going to keep pursuing these videos and I hope they improve as they go along. As I said, I'm no expert. I haven't even got a camera. I'm doing this off my phone and we'll see how it progresses. And I just hope that the content that is a valuable content for someone out there, and that it just doesn't become about me, because that would be a bit sad, wouldn't it? But I wanted to talk about aging gracefully and what that actually means and what it's meaning for me right now. And being 64, nearly 64 and a half, it means that I'm aging, going into my years, but I'm not giving up on anything. I've really noticed now that I make the choices. I make my choices every day. What are my goals? What am I going to be like? How am I going to present myself? I put my prayers out to be the kindest, most sincere person I can be. And I hope that I touch somebody's life, that they walk away feeling a happier person, and that whatever information I might share, whatever that might be, because I work in retail, that it will lighten their day. It'll just give them some warmth, that I can touch somebody's life and do something special for them for that day. And that it might have an ongoing effect if we get into a deep and meaningful, which can happen. But what I wanted to keep talking to you about was that knowing that I've got those choices to go into my day, whatever I want to do, so I can be waking from my sleep and sometimes not wanting to go to work, or feeling a little sorry for myself and my life and where I've been, and I don't have the finances to do what I would love to do, but it doesn't stop me dreaming. I'm not stopping there, and as soon as those feelings start overwhelming me, I make that decision to stop it in its tracks. It takes so much practice to be that person that wants a better life for yourself. We can put our feet up and just go, 64 and all this has happened. It's not been the life I wanted. I thought I'd be in that relationship forever. I gave my heart and soul to that person. I spent all my money with the intention of having a life with them, and look where I've ended up. Yeah, that's pretty much my story. I can do that and wallow in it and just stay stagnant. But I made a decision when the first decision I made was moving to this country town, taking the position I did in the job that I have, because it was an opportunity to learn more. It's managing a garden nursery. And I thought, well, what an opportunity. I love gardens. I have no knowledge about plants, bar that little bit that I learn as I'm working from people that come in that are real gardeners. I just love it. I have a passion for it. I like the idea of growing my own food. So it was an opportunity for me to learn and grow at a ripe old age of 64. I hadn't worked full time since 1985, since I had my first son in utero. So here am I doing something that I didn't even know if I could do. Now it's only been a few months, and yes, I did prove that I could do it. It's a great job and a wonderful responsibility for me. And the responsibility is not all that I want in my life. What I'm saying is it's actually taught me that I'm capable. It's taught me that I'm able to do it. That it's not the end of the road. 64 is an age. It's not an old age. And I'm not going to kid myself that I'm, got the oomph in my step like I did 10 years ago. But it's still there in my heart and it's still there in my mind. And I still love life with a passion. I've been very fortunate to have an amazing family, and a family that love and support me, and I love and support them. I came from migrant parents that really instilled into my sisters and I to stick by each other. And really, this is all we've got in this country. My parents passed away many years ago. My sisters are so important to me. And now not now, I'm blessed now, of course, in this present time. But then I had 3 beautiful sons, and now I've got grandchildren. I've got terrific brother-in-laws, fantastic daughter-in-laws, and I know I went through all this in my first video, but I'm just going over things to say that I'm not sitting around feeling sorry for myself, even though I can feel sorry for myself. So let me define that a bit, because I don't believe in dismissing emotions. If I'm grieving and I still have something sitting heavy on my heart, I'm going to spend some time looking at that. I'm going to spend some time grieving, maybe having a cry about it. But what I choose not to do is I choose not to stay in it. I have a life I want to get on with. At 64, this is that perspective I keep talking about. It's given me this view that time went, what? Where did that go? You know, and if I break it up in decades, I go, that's just gone in a blink. My children are adults. One of my grandchildren is nearly a teenager, turning 13 this year. It's quite overwhelming just thinking about that time. Where did it go? But it did go, and I can't pick it up again. It's past. I can look at it, but only for wisdom's sake. I can look at my past to learn and grow. But if I keep looking back to have pity on myself or feel resentment or hurt or that disappointment, oh my gosh, that was weighing so heavy on me. How disappointed that somebody could treat me like that. But now, you know what? I chose to stay all that time. So that growing old graciously to me is releasing that I found very heavy and saying goodbye to it. I'll embrace it, but as a story to encourage others, to encourage myself. Don't go back there. Don't do that again. If those are red flags, they're things that I might look for in any relationship, and not just a romantic one, but a relationship with friends. You know, I'm not going to pick up that behaviour for myself again. I'm letting it go. Anything that is toxic to me, I don't bring it in. I'm just wiping that clean out of my life. And not to be brutal and hurtful to others, but more to gain a peaceful existence for myself. An existence for myself that I want. That I'm not doing just for others anymore. That I can be that person that I know I can be. I've got the passion and the inclination to want to do that. So yes, I have been fortunate to be offered that job, but you know, nothing is by chance. You know that, don't you? This is not just I'm lucky and it's fallen out of the sky and, you know, you're lucky Barb. It's not lucky Barb. It's how my thoughts go. If I'm sitting around feeling sad and sorry for myself, I'm going to have sad and sorry for myself all day. But if I go, you know what, that sad and sorry is an emotion, I acknowledge it, but I don't want to stay in it. I've done my grieving. I've done the heartache, and I can move on. I've got the opportunity to just look at the brilliance of life, to be grateful to God for everything I have. Even the hard yards, even the hard lessons, even the mistakes, even the toxic relationship. If I'm not grateful for those things, how am I ever going to learn from them and embrace them and go, you know what? That was hard, but you survived it. You moved on. You got an opportunity for a better life in a town away from all that, an opportunity to learn and grow. But the most beautiful thing I got in this time was that perspective, to go, what do you want in your life? Is it just about a job? Is it just about proving something to yourself? And the proving something to myself was very important. It was something I really got a lot out of. I can do it. I can go into something new in this phase of my life and pick it up and run with it. and that other people have the faith in me. That was amazing, that they could see something in me. And so, yes, I do appreciate it and I do love what I do. But what I discovered is that learning to appreciate who I am as a person. So I'm not a shy person, even though this doesn't make sense. And I tend to make a joke with myself. I'm quite the recluse in a lot of ways, and I'm introverted, extroverted. So it means if you put me in a room full of people, I'll do it. I can talk. You introduce me to somebody new, have not a problem talking. But it's not my comfortable spot. See here, I'm very comfortable. And I have learned to be comfortable about talking about things that I'm passionate about. And I did that in those years I ran retreats and workshops because I was passionate about people growing and getting out of their own way. It was one of my favourite sayings was, get out of your own way. I know it's quite a common statement these days, but back 15 years ago, it was understanding that we've got this ego that can be so big it's negative. It's not an ego that says, fix your hair, bub, you put a bit of lipstick on, dress nicer for this. It's that ego that says, I'm not good enough. Oh my gosh, I'm not good enough for this. What do I know? I shouldn't be doing this. Somebody else is better than me. That's the ego I want out the door. The dangerous ego that stops you moving on in life, that you do get in your own way. You block yourself. And that is a choice. That's the choices, this conscious design of life, that you consciously go into your day. You consciously go into your life. You make choices. So one of my biggest choices I made recently for myself is that I want to live closer to my family. I have had years of comings and goings and living away, going back to the country and living with my man, leaving, coming back, going here, going there. I feel like I'm going absolutely insane. But I do know that that want for me to be around my grandchildren and watch them grow is just heartwarming. And I've missed out because of the choices I made. And so my new choices from the perspective from here, this view from here, is to be close to my family again. Living close. I am close in heart, have always in emotion and love, and spiritually I'm close to them. But physically, I want to be close to them. I want to be able to help out. I want to be able to have them over. I want to be able to cook with them. I want to be able to be silly with them, to play, to watch TV, get a movie, lie on the couch. I want to do normal grandma things. And that excites me. So that passion, if you have an emotion and a want and you put an excitement and a passion behind it, that is like transforming it before your eyes. You're putting speed behind it. Now, I'm a great believer in prayer, so I will pray for what I want. That took me a long time to actually know that I'm valuable enough to God that He wants us to ask Him. He wants me to pour my heart out and to let go of my problems to Him. I'm not a burden to God. For goodness sakes, it doesn't even make sense when I say it now. But we do, we feel selfish and greedy and we shouldn't ask. But I tell you what, if you ask and it's not on God's agenda to give it to you, you don't get it. Or if you also throw a bit of that mixed energy in. So if I'm thinking, gee, I want that, but I don't deserve it. I've been such a bad person in my life and, they're probably not going to forgive me and, I really let everyone down. So, and I'm old now. What am I going to do having another move? How am I going to do that for myself? Well, if I'm going to think like that, that's already like a double take on your prayer, a double take on your thoughts and your feelings and your passion. And you know what will happen? Absolutely nothing. But if I'm kneeling in prayer, or it doesn't have to be kneeling, if I'm talking with God And I say, you know the pain I'm feeling in my heart, how much I miss my family. You know that I'm so grateful for what you've given me. But it's not what I thought I wanted. And that was an amazing opportunity, because thinking that this is what I want brought me here, giving me a new perspective. And I felt so lonely being here. I knew no one coming to this town. And then I found a face I knew, or two. But they have their lives already. They're set up in their lives. It's not that for me. And the people I work with are lovely, great team, funny. They're not my tribe. My tribe is my family. And so that's what I choose. So I put that energy and that excitement behind it. And this is exciting me. Doing this, I could not get it out of my mind to do a YouTube channel. It was, I thought, a diversion, just something to do, keep me busy. But then it just kept coming back to me that this is what I really want to do. I feel like that this journey is not to be spent alone. That there's so many of us in this age bracket that find themselves out of a relationship. Wow, it still shocks me that I'm single at 64. Not because I think I'm fantastic and who wouldn't want me, although that's sort of true. It's the fact that I really had hope on this relationship. I really thought this was it. So, yeah, it was a shock. It was a real shock. And financially, you don't put those finances, well, I didn't. I have to speak from my own perspective, right? I didn't put my finances for myself as a priority because I had a partner and I felt like everything was shared and everything was okay. So I never saved for a rainy day, foolishly. So I'm starting from scratch. And, working again was wonderful, just having that 9-to-5 job, reliable job. Once I gave kinesiology away and all the meditation classes and all that, I had no finance. And I'm not a person that wants to rely on the government for my pay. And not that I won't do that when I'm pension age, I'm certainly going to grab it. But right now I'm not that. So I want to be responsible for myself right now. And so this is an opportunity to be able to give back, to speak to others about what's going on, to support each other in it, and know that we're not alone. But I also want to encourage you where I've had those successes in my life. And I'm not saying I'm successful, and I'm not trying to be better than anybody. What I want in this part of my life is to have this wonderful, warm-hearted life. I feel like I've found a purpose. It's always been a purpose of mine to want to help people and to encourage them to have the better life that they're having, especially when they came to me in kinesiology and things weren't great in their life. And it could have been health, it could have been emotional pain. But the one thing I know, the two go very much together. If I'm emotionally drained and hurt, oh boy, does my body ache. But when I'm feeling good in my life and I've got the energy, I'm more active anyway. I will have the capacity to make great choices for myself, like what I'm eating, what I'm doing with my day, what my thoughts are. Am I exercising? Am I being kind and gentle to others? All those things come really easy and a lot more natural to me when I'm in a good headspace. And that's why it's so important for us to release our emotions not to deny them, especially with grief, shock, disappointment, anger, hurt, so that we don't take it out on others. It doesn't show when we're triggered by somebody. It doesn't keep repeating itself. There it is again, triggered again. Oh my gosh, I did it again. As soon as that happens to you, grab it and go, okay, so how can I react differently? What would be a better result for me? Because I walk away going, beating myself up almost, that I've reacted again to the same thing, said the same nasty words have just come out of my mouth, like I feel like I've had to tell someone what they're doing is wrong. Not my business. My business is to walk away and say, I don't like it for me. It no longer suits me to be treated that way. So my boundaries are this. I don't need to confront people. I don't need to defend myself anymore. I've done that for so many years of my life. I now know who I am. So why would I allow that to happen? So we practice this every day. How do we know who we are? How do we get to that point? Well, we practice. We practice. For a start, I love writing. Write it down. Or do lists in your head, but not before you go to bed. Morning's always the best because you've got the whole day to process things. And you write a list like, I love making others happy. And I really do. This is really true. I love it when people come into work and they're grumpy, and turning that around just by being friendly, warm, open, smile. And it doesn't always work. Believe me, it really doesn't always work. And this town's full of elderly people, and you can see it in their body language. They haven't had a great time. Not all of them. But I'll always try. And you know what? You strike gold, and it is amazing. And I feel happy and really feel like my purpose is showing because I've made someone smile. I've warmed their heart. That to me is God's work. That's being of service. And so if I can be of service now by sharing a little bit of wisdom that I've got, or the wisdom I'm growing into and growing graciously with, I'm going to share it. So that's what this is all about. So how do we know? Well, we go with what we love. What brings you that warm heart? What makes you happy? Does it make you happy to keep working on yourself all the time? Then do it. Does it make you happy to share some love, to volunteer, to assist somebody, to write? Does that make you happy? Are you an artist? Are you good at sport? Do you love to walk? Do you love nature? Do you have a camera? You know, there's a million things that we've got a passion for and a purpose for. And we just are writing a list of what we know we love and what do we want in our life. Not what you think you can't do. You know, like, I love it, I'm going to do it. Not, I love it, but, I've never really been good at it. And, I remember that time at school where I did that drawing and the teacher said, blah, blah, blah. We're overcoming those fears. We're overcoming by pushing through. And just even starting by writing it is an important step, because eventually from writing it down what you love doing without commenting in your mind about what you think you can't do, you will eventually move into doing that. And it does happen because you're practicing not dismissing yourself. You're practicing encouraging yourself. Go for it. Have a go. What would be the worst thing if you always loved to draw and you bought yourself an easel, and my gosh, as we know, you can get things dirt cheap from the $2 shop. Got yourself an easel, charcoal pencil, some paints, whatever you loved, and you started. And then after 2 months, you went, really? You need to give that away. That was just a thought. It didn't work. You know what? Tick. You gave it a go. You actually got out of your comfort zone and you tried something that you weren't sure of, without rubbishing yourself. But it doesn't mean at the end of the day you're not honest and you go, I didn't really actually enjoy it. But if you're enjoying it and you're not good at it, just keep doing it anyway. Who are you doing it for? You're doing it for yourself because you feel great when you do something that is really acknowledging your passions and your purpose. And you keep then stepping into things. You see, they don't go away. Then something new will come in. There'll be a new goal, a new ambition, a new adventure. It'll be there. And you'll go for it because you're out of your way. Your ego's not there saying you're not good enough. You're too slow. You're too old. You're too old to do that now. What do you mean you're going to do that now? You're too old. Don't be ridiculous. Who cares? Isn't this the wisdom age? Isn't this accumulating your knowledge? That you look at your mistakes flat out in the face and go, I will never do that again. But wow, what a powerful lesson about where I don't want to be in my life again. So we're grabbing life and we're saying, good, I'll try it. Doesn't matter. There is no failure. There's only trying. There's only giving it a go. That is empowering and fantastic. But I'll tell you what's not empowering, not doing it. Having it on your list for 20 years and you're lying on your deathbed and you go, oh, I should have just tried it. I'm trying it. If it comes to my mind and it comes into my heart, and then I feel that when it comes into my heart and there's this sense of great anticipation and a warmth, and I get very excited, I can feel it churning, I know that God's got my back. I know it. And I go, okay, He's got me on this one. Give it a go, Barb. It's not going to hurt. You can't fail what you love. You're not hurting anybody. I'm not saying I want to do something awful. It might be an idea for a small business. It might be an idea for a little bit of extra money on so I can get ahead and do the things I want to do. Just do it. Yeah? And so every week now I put a little bit of money aside for myself to do something that I love for myself. So at the moment, I've noticed my skin's nowhere near that's my biggest shock at 64. It's like, Barb, your skin. So I put that money aside to buy a product, a good vitamin that's going to help my stomach and my gut, and a good oil for my skin, whatever it might be, for my hair, a nice mask. So I put that bit of money away to do that, to encourage myself to look my best. I just want to look my best. I'm not vain. I'm not out to think that I look any younger than I am, but it's about taking care. I need to take care of my skin. I love taking care of my skin. You know, I had two amazing parents. My mum and my dad had beautiful skin. I want to continue that on. I want that to be something in my old age that I've taken care of myself. So that's what I like to do. That's one little thing I do in my personal life, and it might be this now for a little while, then it might be something else. But we're taking care and we're bringing ourselves joy and happiness, whatever makes you happy. But as I said, as long as you're not hurting somebody, I'm not talking about buying money for your recreational stuff. Yeah, that might make you happy, but it won't be fulfilling. It won't be longevity. I love a nice bottle of wine too, don't you ever get me wrong on that. But it's not serving a purpose other than I enjoy it, which is a great purpose, yeah? But I wouldn't put that over my health, and I wouldn't put that over taking care of myself or before my family and friends. So that's just using your conscious awareness again. Where are you? What are you doing? So that's your list. What do you love? What do you want in your life? What can you see your future like? What do you want to look like at 84? What do you want to be in your 80s? Do you want to be one of those grumpy old men or women walking around on a stick all hunched over? Or do you want to be standing straight, feeling healthy and fit, having fun with your grandchildren because they're teenagers and young adults now, hanging out with your crazy sisters and knowing that they're going to be the same? I know my family, they will be. That's what I want to be doing. I want my children, my adult children, to be proud of me, to look at me and go, she's all right. She still makes sense. Her brain still ticks. She may be a little crazy, but we love her. That's things that are important to me, to take care of myself for myself and for those people that I love that are around me. I'm not embarrassed to say I want them to look at me and go, she's all right, that lady. It makes me feel good. It's important to me. So they're the things I aim for, not only externally, internally. I want to be a calmer, more interesting person than I was yesterday. And I'm certainly not the person I was when I left and came here in March. That was only a few months ago. And the difference in me, I can feel it. I can feel how different I am. I notice it. I don't even want what I wanted then. It's not on my wish list anymore. So that's an incredible feeling. So that to me is aging gracefully. Following your dreams, following your purpose, having a few adventures, having great family and friends, and building that if you want to. Build on your friendships. Because you're changing as a person, and what used to interest you a year ago, 3 years ago, may not anymore. You may not find that those connections you had last year with people is going to suit the person that you're becoming now. You just might be so different in how you think, in your fitness, and what you want to do in life, and the adventures you want to go on, and you're saying, well, I don't want to hang out with these people. They've got no purpose. They're not inspiring. They put me down. They don't want me to move forward. They're not encouraging me in any way. Why would I want to hang out with them? So it's important that you can face that letting go. When people are holding you back and don't want the best for you, they are not the best for you. If they don't want it for you, you don't want their companionship, because it mightn't match for a while. And there might be a lull in social events. There might be that quietness in your life, that solitude. But use that time too. Please do not waste your solitude time. I felt so lonely. I know I'm repeating myself. But that's where I started to get on YouTube. I listened to people like Mel Robbins, who really inspired me to exercise and get moving. I get on face yoga pages and do different, crazy things with my face to keep my muscles taut. I just started to look up, what can I do to make myself feel better? To fill in the time. I'm not going to sit around feeling sorry for myself. I've got a couple of really good friends. I've got a few really good friends that I might call and have really good chats with. And I love reading my Bible. Right? So there's always something to do. And a couple of movies aren't bad to watch either. So nothing wrong with that. Or watching silly shows like Farmer Wants a Wife. But hey, who am I? I just don't mind doing that for myself every now and again. Watching things on YouTube, learning how to do stuff. That's what I was going to do this week. Learn how to make a YouTube channel. And what did I do? None of that. But I've had an exciting week. I've had a really interesting week. I've had some great conversations. I know now that I'm having a move, not for a few months, but I'll share more as it gets closer. And I'm excited. It's been a wonderful week. I sat with one of my sisters last night. We went through old photos, did some reminiscing, like who was that person? Oh my gosh, I had a great figure. See what we don't know? When we're young, we waste so much time worrying about how we look. I didn't even know that I looked so great when I was young. And I look back and I go, gosh, you look good. What were you worried about? But I had no self-esteem whatsoever. A big mouth, yes, always, but did not have the self-esteem or the self-value. I didn't know who I was, what I wanted. It was always whoever I was going out with, whoever I was dating, got the full brunt of Barbara, because I would be living like, hanging on like a little koala to them. You know, and they would say to me, don't do this, don't do that. Don't dress like that. You're too fat, you're too thin. So, and that's what I did up until I left my ex recently. My ex-partner, not my ex-husband, who never spoke to me rudely like that, can I add. That's another story for another time, on how we just don't see what we've got while it's under our nose. And how sometimes we need to know the downside of ourselves so we can grow into the upside of ourselves. And so being with somebody who treats you badly is to let you know your old story, until you learn that you're not that person after all. So get your list writing going. Get on to what you want. What do you love? And then I want this honest list. But not only do you want your future to be, what do you want out of your life? What do you love about yourself? What do you love about who you are as a person? Now, if you've not ever been encouraged to be you, this is a real toughie. You know, because what do you want? What do you love about yourself? You know? Can you even look at yourself and say, oh, I love that person? Do you love the way you look? And you know what? If you don't love the way you look, that's something you can change. If you need to lose a few pounds, I want you to look at how can you do that? If you've got a walker and it's not that easy, or you've got an illness, what can you do that you're eating now that you could change? It would give you a weight loss or an opportunity to sort of feel better within your gut. So that, changing your hairstyle, your hair colour, putting some makeup on, changing the way you do your eyebrows, or whatever, all the style of clothing that you've dressed in all that time. You might need to funk it up a bit. So look at yourself honestly, but without beating yourself up. It's okay. And I do it where I say, I don't like that look you created. Do it differently, Barb. Try something new. So that's being honest, you know. Or I've been out and I didn't like the way I behaved, didn't like the way I spoke to someone. Then I'm happy to look at myself and go, don't do it again. How do we do it differently? Confronting yourself is an amazing practice. It's an amazing practice to do for yourself. So practice it. Write it down first so you can have a good look, and then look at it again in a few months' time. But read it daily so you know what you're practicing all the time, and you know where you're at, and remembering, oh yeah, I really wanted to be consistent in my phone calling to my friends and family, for example. I haven't even done that. So you remind yourself, not to kick yourself and go, you're stupid, you're an idiot, what'd you do? No, I said I was going to do that. That was on the top of my list, was contacting my friends and family. Okay, that happens as from today. And make a note of who that is you're going to ring. Could be a mum, it could be your brother or sister or a good friend, somebody from the past that you want to contact. Do it. See, it doesn't have to be major. So you're starting with things that you're comfortable with and moving into things. Once that list is sort of getting ticks along the way, you'll go, yeah, I am going to do that art course. I've always wanted to draw. I'm going to do it. and you step outside where you were beating yourself up. You look at what you really want, who you want to be. Then equal that with what you love about yourself. Your crazy laugh, the way you make people feel when they're around you, the way your mind ticks. There's going to be things that you absolutely love about yourself. And if you can't find it, what can you change within yourself to find it, to be it? You know, what do you want to be? What do you want to love about yourself? Create it. Be adventurous with it. Don't hurt anyone along the way. You know, when people say to me, this is just throwing this in, I just stand in my truth and say it how it is. Well, to me, there's one truth, and it's not ours. All truths to me are the good things. Be kind. Love your neighbour. Be grateful. Be forgiving and respectful to others. There's probably a whole lot more I could say and add to that. But to say I stand in my truth is just having a very strong opinion about something and throwing that onto somebody else. That's how I see it. It's very new age and very disrespectful. You know, that you have to tell someone what you think of them and that they're doing this and that wrong. Mind your business, get out of your way, get on with your life. That's the only business that we really need to focus on, is what we want, how we want to be treated, how to treat others, putting boundaries in place. And not by standing in our truth, just by putting that invisible wall up. Walk away. It works so much better. Silence is golden. And if you're my age, you know that song. Walk away. Don't need those people in your life. I don't need that argument. It doesn't serve me to argue and to fight with people. It drains me. In fact, it makes me feel disgusting. But to be grateful and happy and spend time with people I love, that makes me feel amazing. So that's where I'm going to stop it today. I'm going to just thank you again for being here. And I want that list writing to go on. That's one of the best tools to start with, is really to have a look at you on paper and create what you want by knowing what you love and what you've been good at. And it usually goes back to your childhood. You remember certain feelings of what you loved and what you were good at, and then somebody said, no, you're not, or you're going to amount to nothing, or your bum looks big in those jeans. I think I was about 47 kilos when that was told to me. And you go, really? I didn't even have a bum. How could that look? My bum looked big in something. Somebody else's fears were put to me through their fears of what they wanted me to look like, because they didn't like how they looked. I know that now. I didn't know it then. You know, and I wore it. I believed it. So that's why we have to know ourselves. That's why we have to be involved. It's why we have to be conscious. Because otherwise we're going to believe other people. And they just want you to be dragged down to their level all the time. Their fear of losing you, of you being better than them, racing past them in life, that fear is bigger than love sometimes for people, couples, friendships. Keep those things in mind. Grow, be adventurous, be loving and kind to others, and very respectful. It's so important. I'm so happy you came along today, and I'm going to stop you because I can do this for hours. And I want you to actually listen to it and not get bored. So have a wonderful week ahead. It's Sunday night, and just hope you've had an amazing weekend. Hope you have the best week ahead. Study yourself. Make yourself a very interesting subject. Say your prayers. stay close to God. And if your family is a wonderful family like mine, stay close to them too. See you again. Bye for now. See you next week. Bye.